Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you are all safe and well. You join us again, the Larford Lakes complex. We've got very clear blue skies again. We've got a little bit of wind blowing, very similar conditions to yesterday. However, it is a little bit cooler. This is day 2 of the day final. So we had a very exciting day yesterday. If you aren't aware with what happened yesterday, the previous streams before this one are still right here for you to watch on playback. I did several streams on this fishing live channel yesterday on YouTube for you, just to let you know how the competition was going, how it was panning out. And at the end of the day, I did post a video just to let you know who the leaders were, who were on 1 point, who were on 2 point going into today's second day. So we're here, we're back on the bank. Behind me is Spessy Lake. So before I give you a quick rundown on what's happening, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody for all of the great comments. This is pretty much a first, I think, for this sort of event, for it to be to YouTube for you. It's something that usually only gets done on Facebook. This is actually being streamed on Facebook as well. It's on the Real Angling Facebook page. So if you want to be kept up to date on stuff, then you can watch that on Facebook. However, this is right here on YouTube mainly for people who don't do social media. So that's what this channel is all about. Okay, so we're here again for day 2. I'm going to be on the bank all day again for you. I'm going to be streaming probably at least 3 times today for you, just to let you know how it's actually going. So the draw for today, there are some anglers that are on section wins from yesterday that are leading this competition. It is a competition that's being ran on points. It's not on weight. The only time that weight will come into it is if there is a tie on points. Okay, so everyone really is striving to win their section. So we've got 6 anglers that are on 1 point who won their sections yesterday, and there are 6 anglers that are on 2 points. So we consider those to really be in the running for this title. Now, just a quick sum for you. It's a 2-day competition. It's done on points. There is a total of £30,000 paid out later on today at the end of the event, and the winner will walk away with £10,000 of that, as well as the section winners. So what I'm going to do in a minute, rather than have one big complete walk round of the complex, which I've just done as a part, well, as somebody who's not competing, is that there's nobody on a flyer. You got a section win yesterday or was second yesterday on the bank, the new bank actually that's been redeveloped, as you can see. That's why it's a bit of a building site look at the moment. But we're looking up the shallow bank now on Spessy Lake. As you can see, they've got the wind off their back again, so we'll probably find that these anglers are going to be sat in their t-shirt where it's lovely, nice and warm with the sun on them. And that is the whole of shallow bank. And then as we pound on the right hand bank is what we refer to as the burr bank, and those are the anglers that will have that wind blowing straight into them, so they could be dressed as though they went. But basically, as far as we're concerned, I've spoken to so many anglers, it's wide open today. I'm going to show you the draw now. This is just on a piece of paper for you. All right, this is a stream. You can watch it back on playback. Okay, so you can put it as and where you like. Okay, so this is a bit of a behind the scenes channel. You know what this fishing live channel is all about. You know, it's about showing you things that you wouldn't normally see. Now, in order for me to cover this event properly, I am doing the streams and coverage on my own. And I am also producing a feature-length video of this event, which will be on YouTube this week. So you'll be able to sit back and watch a formal film about the event, obviously. So that's something that you've got something to look forward to later on in the week. You might prefer to enjoy that end-to-end film. But basically, if I put a sheet of paper there for you, Spessy Lake. Okay, so they are the anglers. That is all the anglers that have drawn on Spessy Lake. So peg 1 in the top left-hand corner is Janice. That is that peg there. So that's peg 1, and those peg numbers run 1, 2, 3, 4, going that way. Okay, so if I do it that way for you, it's probably the best graphic way to do it for you. So peg 1 is Janice, and going along that bank, you've got Aid Link, Steve Brindley, Tom Scorley, who was a section winner from yesterday. He's on peg 4, and that works right the way along Spessy Bank, right the way up to peg 16, which is Alex Walker, and he's right on the end of the burr. He's on the end peg. He suffered a terrible day yesterday, but he's obviously expecting a few fish there today, being on that end peg. Now, if we switch over to that left-hand bank, which is the shallow bank, the peg that's right at that far end, that is Alan. It says guiding there, I think it's Gilding, but it's Alan Gilding. Next one along, peg 18, is Ryan Wilson, who won his section yesterday. Next one is peg 19, which is Les Marshall, who was second in his section yesterday, so they're leaders. Next one is Steve Ringer, who had a bad day yesterday. And that pans right the way down, coming down. And whilst I'm just working, I'd just like to say it again, this is a brand new channel. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoy them. And more importantly, consider subscribing, because the bigger this channel gets, the more events like this I can cover, and I'll even be able to cover events like this when I am actually competing as well, and just show you a lot of the behind the scenes kind of stuff that you don't see in polished videos about what it's like working in the angling industry. And these are events that a lot of people don't really know about, and if you're not on Facebook and media, a lot of people don't even know about these events. So by me having the facility to stream them onto YouTube, it opens this coverage up to a much bigger audience, which is what I'd like to do, because there's so many events that a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to get involved in. So we are now over at, flick the camera around for you, we're now over at Match Lake. Okay, so there's the lodge, that's where you come into the complex. If I just go a little bit further down here so that you can see more of the anglers. There we go. Okay, so basically this is Match Lake. Okay, right up there is the island that you will have seen in the streams yesterday, and this is peg 1. This is where Jamie Snedker was yesterday. Peg 1, peg 2, peg 3, and that goes right the way up there, right the way up to peg 16, which is where Steve Hanrahan was yesterday, who caught some on the end peg. Then there's a couple of pegs behind the island, and then the pegs resume again along what they call the burr, and they come right the way down here, right the way to this end peg, which is peg 32. To give an idea of who's where, this is peg 1, and that is where Neil McKinnon has drawn. So I'll show you the sheet. So Neil McKinnon, peg 1. Next, right the way up there on the end, the back edge of the island, and on that end peg, who's had loads of success at this venue. He actually used to work here. He's very, very good angler, so we're expecting him to catch some fish on that end peg today. If we skip over to behind the island, there are 2 pegs there on their own. Those 2 anglers are actually on pegs 17 and 18, as you can see in the top right hand corner. That's Marius and Charlie Simpson, who's a former winner of this event. I think he won it in the first year, that's either 4 or 5 years ago. And then the pegs start again. Peg 19, which is Steve Curtis. Steve is fancying a few fish there. Then peg 20 is Paul Cook, who knows this venue very well, and that runs right the way down. If I just hold it like that so you can see it properly. So all those pegs, the higher the numbers get, the closer to us we get. Okay, so you've got Andy Fry there, Oliver Scotthorne, Jeff Wiseman, Phil Ringer on 27, right the way down. John Wake is there, peg 29, so he's 4 from the end. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's John Wake there. He won his section yesterday. And then you've got Ian Corton, Nick Speed, and then Andy Mundell on the end peg. So Andy Mundell's on that peg. That is the peg that won the match yesterday. Next one in is Nick Speed. He won his section yesterday, so he's on 1 point. But he thinks he's up against it. That's the peg that Rob Woodson was on yesterday. He thinks he's up against it. He thinks realistically 3rd is the best he can do, because he's up against these 2 end pegs, because these are the same section. But we'll see what happens. So that's your Match Lake. Like I said, the anglers that have drawn good pegs today didn't get great scores yesterday, so it's going to be very, very interesting. And if the sun stays out like this, it's certainly going to help us watching the event. I don't think it's going to help the fishing, but it's certainly going to help us. So it's early morning on Sunday. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's logged on. There's been a nice number of viewers watching, but obviously you can watch this on playback. So I'm going to be updating you later on today, let you know how it's fishing. We are fishing 11 until 4. You can watch all these streams on playback, but like I say, if you're not able to do that, hopefully you're out enjoying the sunshine somewhere and enjoying your Sunday and your weekend. But if you're not fortunate, so I'm going to be checking in with you once we get started, let you know what early fish have been caught, if any, and let you know who they are. And throughout the day, we're obviously going to get an idea of who the front runners are. Okay, so thanks very much to everybody who's logged on this morning and yesterday. lets me know that you want us to continue doing them. So hope you have a wonderful morning, and we'll check in with you after 11 o'clock once the actual match gets started. So thanks everybody, and I'll check in with you shortly.